Today's recipe calls for tomato paste. I'm going to show you how to make a classic, a nostalgic type of soup, also known as tomato soup. It's really simple and the end result is just tasty. So with that said, let's get started.
The first thing we need to do to make this classically simple dish is prep a bunch of veggies. We'll start with one small yellow onion. Cut the bottom side off, which is the non-hairy side. Once that has happened, cut the onion into 2 equal sections. Peel all the paper skin cover off. Now that it's paperless, cut the onion from side to side into sections that are roughly 1/8 inch thick. Follow the curve of the onion. This will help give us even pieces. Do this for both sections, repeating the same steps. After the side cuts, give the half of the half a quarter turn. Cutting from top towards the bottom, make the same size sections as we did previously. This will give us a small dice, which will cook down quicker and will blend much easier later on. When you've fought through tears, cutting all the onion, set it aside for later. On to the next crunchy vegetable. Snag 3 medium celery sticks. Cut the tip and bottom off where most of the white part is. Split each celery stick into thinner sticks of veg. This will help us achieve a small dice. Now that you've multiplied the green veg, make small stacks of sticks, then cut the goods into a small dice. Do your best to shoot for the same size cut like we made with the onion. This will ensure everything has the most even cook to it. Repeat this until all of the celery has been diced up. Following that, collect 2 medium to large carrots, cut both ends off each one, then give them a quick peel. Cut the orange thing into 2 sections of goods, once again making double the pieces. Next, cut a section off the carrot. This will make a flat side, preventing things from rolling around, because safety first or whatever. Anyways, once it's flat, make sections or planks of carrot that are roughly 1/8 inch thick. Turn the planks into sticks of carrots that are also the same thickness. To cut things quicker, stack a few planks on top of one another. Now that you have a large collection of snack sticks, we need to cut these into a small dice as well. Make a small bundle of goods, then cut them from front to back, cutting them into the same size as the rest of the veggies. This collection of vegetables will build a good strong base of flavor for our soup. Side note, I love eating raw carrots. They are so dang good. They have a natural sweetness that I really enjoy. Anyways, on to the next best ingredient, which is garlic. Grab 7 to 10 garlic cloves that are medium to large in size. This is a large amount of the stinky breath mint. I like it, that's why I'm using so much. If it's not your thing, simply cut it in half to fit what you enjoy. Cut both ends off each piece. From there, give them a light smash. This will make it much easier to peel all the paper skins off. Do this for all of the garlic. Once things are all naked and free, slice the garlic into really thin chips. Repeat this until everything is cut. We have a few more items to prep. Collect 1/3 cup or 85 grams tomato paste. This will give us a strong, rich tomato flavor, which is perfect given the name of the soup. We'll also add 2 cups or 236 mils chicken stock. Finally, we need the other most important ingredient of this recipe, which is 56 ounces or 1,588 grams of crushed peeled tomatoes. Alrighty, now that we have everything prepped, snag a large pot that has a thick bottom. Take all of this over to the heat source. Crank the heat to a low-medium temperature. It's best to use something that has a thick bottom. This way we don't have to worry about the bottom of the soup scorching. If you don't have one, it'll be fine in a normal cooking contraption. When the pot is over the heat, allow it to become ripping hot. It'll take a little if it's a thick bottom pot. Once it's reached maximum hotness, drizzle in a teaspoon or 2 of a high heat oil that is neutral in taste, or enough oil to coat the bottom of the pot. Wait a few seconds to allow it to heat up a little. Once you've ran out of patience, drop the diced onion in. Give it a fat pinch of coarse ground kosher salt, then give it a mix about. We do this because we want to spread the salt out and we want the onions to be completely coated in the liquid fat. Saute the goods for 6 to 7 minutes or until they become translucent in color. After they've changed color and time has passed, dump in the celery and carrot. Give it a pinch of salt and a stir as well. It's imperative to season as you go. This way we can build flavor throughout the cooking process. Saute these 2 ingredients for 5 to 6 minutes or until they become tender in texture and slightly dull in color. Once those have been cooked, open up some space in the center of the pot. Drop the sliced garlic in. Saute this for 30 to 40 seconds or until the air becomes very fragrant in smell. After it's been cooked, mix it with the rest of the goods. Following the mix-up, transfer all the goods out of the pot into a bowl for now. When the pot is cleared out, slap in the tomato paste. We'll cook the paste for roughly 5 to 6 minutes or until it becomes a dark red color, almost like a brick. Spread it out as best as you can to achieve an even toast on it. Also, stir it often so it doesn't burn. Don't worry about the small amount that is stuck to the bottom of the pot. Doing this step will caramelize the natural sugars that are in the tomato paste. It'll also create a deeper and richer tomato flavor for our soup. Oh yeah, also we're doing this on the same heat level we started with, which is a low medium. When you've changed the color of red to a dark red, add about half at first. Deglaze the pot with the first portion of liquid. Watch for the hot steam cloud that may occur. Using a spatula, scrape the fond off the bottom of the pot during the deglazing step. The fond is all the tomato paste that is stuck that I referenced earlier. Stir the paste into the liquid until it has mostly dissolved. After that's occurred, add the veg back to the pot and combine everything into one. Following that, add in 2 cans of crushed tomatoes. With the leftover chicken stock, rinse out both cans to get all of the goods out. You may have to use a rubber spat to collect anything else that was left behind. Using a spoon or a rubber spat, smash the tomatoes in the pot so they release all their delicious flavors. Allow the goods to cook on a low to medium temp for around 8 to 10 minutes, giving it the occasional stir to prevent things from burning. This amount of time will allow flavors to come together and for the soup to ever so slightly thicken up. Once the timer goes off, pull the pot of goods off the heat source. Now it's time to make this business into a bowl of soup. You can either use a stick blender or a normal blender for this. I opted for a regular old blender. It's very important to know and understand how to blend hot food. Using a ladle, fill the blender jar only 3/4 of the way full. Do not add any more than that, because once we start the machine up, it'll create a lot of heat and steam, and we need an empty space for it to go. Place a towel over the top of the blender jar with the vent open. This will allow some of the trapped heat to escape. The towel will catch any part of the soup that may come out, making for an easier cleanup and will help prevent you from being burned. At first, blend the soup for 10 to 12 seconds a few times. This will allow more of the trapped heat to be released. After that, fully blend the soup until your heart is content with how it looks. Once it's blended, let it rest for a few seconds before you take the lid off. Following that last rule, transfer the soup to a holding device for later. Repeat the same exact steps until all of the soup has been blended up. Stick around till the end. I'll show you how to clean the blender jar the really fast and easy way. Now that we have an actual tomato soup, transfer things back to the pot we cooked it in. The soup this way is more rustic and hearty feeling in texture. If you want something more smooth, then use a fine mesh strainer to catch any of the tomato and veggie pulp. If you're gonna do that step, I suggest doing that when you add the soup back to the pot. When the liquid tomato is back in its original cooking device, transfer it back over to the heating element. Cook it on medium to low heat for 5 to 6 minutes, stirring it often to prevent things from burning. Give it a few taste tests and adjust the seasoning as needed with coarse ground kosher salt. When it's optimal flavor and hotness level, grab your favorite eating bowl and serve this classic dish up. A little pro tip, when ladling soup into a bowl, scrape the back of the ladle on the edge of the pot. This will prevent you from making a mess because it won't drip soup all over the place or on the bowl. Serve this with your favorite piece of bread, or you guessed it, with a grilled cheese. Whatever you decide to do, just enjoy. Oh yeah, last thing, the simplest and easiest way to clean the blender is to fill it close to halfway with some warm water. Then give it a squeeze of some dish soap. Blitz these two things together for about a minute or until you feel like things are squeaky clean. Give it a quick rinse with warm water, and now you have a clean blender. You're welcome.
Alright, now that our tomato soup is done, let's give it the old taste-a-roo. So looking at it, it came out super aesthetically pleasing, has that deep, rich red color to it, a little bit of Parmesan cheese or maybe some green parsley or basil would be a nice touch to the top to add that pop of color, but nonetheless it still looks really tasty. It looks nice and rustic as well texture-wise. Overall, it just looks really good, so let's give it a shot. This soup came out super dang tasty. Has that deep, rich tomato flavor, which makes total sense because it's a tomato soup after all. That paste that we added really drives home that tomatoey goodness, and we caramelized it so we get a bit of flavor from that as well. The canned tomatoes that we used were pretty good as well, so it brings a nice tomato flavor and it brings a bit of sweetness as well from the natural sugars that they hold. Then we get a good base of flavor from that mirepoix, from the carrot, onion, and celery. Then of course we used a ton of garlic, which brings a bunch of goodness and pairs really well with the tomato, and it's nice and faint hint of that flavor in the background, which is really dang tasty. Texture wise, it has that rustic feel to it where it's not too thin and it's not too thick or like too chunky. It's just like right in the middle for that perfect texture. Overall, this stuff is just good. This recipe is easy to make and it's perfect for any beginner cook out there because it's so simple to slap together. And you can make it any which way you want. Maybe make the flavors more complex by adding some red bell pepper and some fennel, or get real bougie with it and use some confit garlic instead of regular garlic. Then finish it with a drizzle of basil oil on the top to add that pop of green color and that flavor as well, or add some toasted red pepper flakes to make it spicy. You get the point. There's a ton of ways to make this stuff. But anyways, hopefully you enjoyed today's video. Thanks for watching, and I gotta go make some grilled cheese to eat with this soup, so I'm gonna go do that, and we'll see you on the next one. Flavor, just keep saying the same thing. Sense because it's tomato soup after all. Stupid phone. This stuff came out super dang tasty. Forgot to do that. Come on now. You already know these things. Really, again with the reallys. Oil on the top to add some green. It's really easy to knock out, and it's perfect for anybody.